to see all of you. I really do. Okay. I'd like to thank you for the great honor of addressing me today. First of all, to the class of 2022, everyone here is so proud of you. Take a look out upon your audience, row after row of smiling faces, and maybe some with a sense of relief. All of us are very, very proud of what you have accomplished. Just a bit of advice. If there is a day that you ever feel the need to ask your parents for money, a car, or whatever, today is the perfect day to do that. Graduation speeches. Man, I have heard so many graduation speeches. In my own family, there have been many high school graduations, college graduations, graduate school graduations, medical school graduations. Just this week, my son graduated from Columbia on Friday and Cornell on Monday. I'm not sure how that ever happened. This is the kid who can't remember to put his dirty socks in the hamper. I thought about all the speeches I have ever heard. I think the best was my daughter's graduation from NYU. She got her master's out of music therapy, and there were no speeches. It was just a 2-hour jam session by graduates and faculty. It was so cool. So what great advice did I ever gain from all the words that I listened to on so many occasions? I thought about that. I really can't remember anything. So there you have it. I'm delivering the most forgettable form of speech in all of history. So, I thought about what I would say to you. Where do I go to get the wisdom of the ages? Where do I search for the words of wisdom that might somehow stick with all of you who are being held captive by this speech? Where do I search for the wisdom of the ages? Where do I search for that wisdom? Class, that's a question. Where would you go? That was an awesome answer. Anybody. Where do I go to find the advice, the sages, the wisdom of the eons? Where do I focus that 2 a.m. search when I'm panicking? Yeah. No, TikTok. So out came my cell phone. Yeah, I have one. I know how to use it. Do you realize your cell phone has more computing power than all of the computers that took us to the moon? Use them wisely. So, I'm going to begin my speech with the advice from the people in the TikTok world. I'll try to keep this brief, but as you know, remember, I've taught most of you, and I've also taught your parents. Right? I'm not exactly known for being at a loss for words, but just remember, you picking it. Just a couple of things. First of all, never give up. Embrace the uncertainty of your future. Let's start with that. The other day I was in Wegmans. You know, when students see a teacher there, they always look perplexed. They look up and say, "Hey, Mr. Bird, what are you doing here?" "Oh, yeah, I'm buying food." "Oh, really?" They're shocked to hear that we don't all just actually live here at school. He asked me, "What am I doing in retirement?" Well, I told him that I'm studying history at Arizona State University. He looked confused. He tried to process that news. Then he looked at me and said, "Why would you do a thing like that? You're so old." So, yeah, I thought, yes, I am. Never give up. In 1975, yes, 1975, I was a newly minted high school senior, wondering, just as you likely did at the start of this school year, what am I going to do with my life? I remember sitting in my bedroom, an 8-inch black and white TV set with 4 channels. I had just watched remember those TVs? I had just watched the PBS special on ancient Egypt. You needed a special little circular antenna on the TV to get that channel. And you had to turn it all kinds of different ways. Yeah. And I thought, I got it. I had found the answer to the question that hangs over every senior's head. The eureka moment, the relief of knowing I had found the answer to my future, and I needed to share it. I burst from the confines of my room and ran into the kitchen to share my destiny, the joy of this moment with my dad. Dad, I said, I have discovered my life's path in words that bubble forth from my lips with a giggling joy. I said, I'm going to study history. All right, Mr. Christopher. I was beaming with the pride that you can only feel when the joy of answering one of life's most important questions, the burden of my future, was lifted. To share in this joy, the discovery of my future with my dad, I couldn't wait to see the pride and joy in his eyes. He looked deep into the happiest eyes of mine and said, "You'll never get a job." Sorry. And here I am, right? The next week, he filled out my college application. Off to RIT for medical technology. I had no idea what it even was. It took me 2 years before I inquired about it. And someone looked at me and said, "You'll be testing medical samples." Samples of what? You know. Can any of you who know me picture that? Yeah, I switched to biology, graduated, and I went to work in the pharmaceutical industry. And that lasted until the day I went to pick up my beautiful sister, who was a senior at the high school that we both attended. My beautiful sister. You know I have two of them, right? It was the one that's in the audience today, the one that's going to drive me home.
Not so sure.
While I waited for her, the principal came over to talk to me. He asked what I was doing. He was my former biology teacher at the school, regular biology and college biology that I took my senior year. When I told him, "Now I'm in the pharmaceutical industry," he looked at me and shook his head and said, "You know, you should have been a teacher." I was so flattered. I said, "Me, a teacher? Wow." His answer, "Because no kid could ever have done anything that would shock you." Yeah, most teachers were the good kids, and some of them quit because they don't understand that kids aren't always like them. He looked at me and said, "Hey, you want a job?" I said, "You're offering me a job because I was the bad kid?" He said, Yeah. And that's how I got into teaching. I was the bad kid. Some of you may end up teachers someday. Oh, I love my job, but along came family, kids, worries about money. So back to pharmaceutical research I went until the day I saw an advertisement for a teaching job. It was in the newspaper. You ever heard of those newspapers? It's made out of paper. It arrives at your door every morning, and it's filled with yesterday's news. I think I'm the last person on earth that still gets it. It was a teaching job in a place called Holly High School. I called and talked to Jeff Brown, the principal at the time. He said, "Why don't you come on out for an interview?" And from that point forward, I knew I had found a job that I would love for more than 30 years. Never in 1975 could I have imagined that I would be so fortunate as to be with all of you. Embrace the uncertainty of your path. Be confident in where that path will lead you. Never give up. It took me a lifetime to return to the study of the subject I have always loved. Finally, I'm writing papers. I'm taking tests. I am reading books, studying history. No matter how long it takes, I finally got to be a student of history. Keep going. You'll get there. Embrace the uncertainty of your path. Everything will be all right in the end. And if things are not all right, it's just not the end. My path to Holly was one that was never certain. Yet I made it here to the job I loved. Because of you, all of you, I have never once had a bad day. I have never regretted my choice to come here, ever. For 2 generations, I have been fortunate to teach you. This is a wonderful place, and this is a wonderful school. As I wrote this, a thought came into my head about a substitute teaching day I had this year. It was my sister's 5th period English class. You know who you are. I looked at the assignment she left and thought, oh boy, hey, you guys don't want to do this, do you? What do you think their answer was? So instead, we watched Beowulf, one of the oldest poems in the English language. They listened. They asked me great questions. They wanted to know more. They were interested, excited, and you guys were so wonderful to be with. Just one example of the millions, and I mean millions, of great experiences I've had here in this magical place. Truly magical place. When I retired, I received over 1,200 messages from former students. Hundreds of them reached out to me on Zoom meetings to wish me well. You know, the best part of it was recognizing just how successful our students are. There were doctors, lawyers, teachers, actors who made it from Holly to Broadway. There were those who served in the armed forces. There were those who became skilled mechanics, electricians, tradespeople of all kinds. I was struck by what good and decent people all of them were, as all of you are. Some of them, many of them, were your parents. 2 generations. I thought I better leave before I got the 3rd generation. You taught my grandpa. Class of 2022. You are leaving this place well prepared by a faculty, staff, and administration that truly cares for you and always will. Class of 2022. You are a fine example of the best that this school has ever produced. Never give up. Embrace uncertainty in your path. Challenge yourself. Give more than you take from this world. If I could say one thing that I mean sincerely from the bottom of my heart, give more than you take. All of us are so proud of you. We are confident in your future. You will do great and wonderful things. To the class of 2022, cherish your hopes, dreams, for they are the product of your beautiful souls. There will be far more beautiful things ahead of you than the wonderful ones you are leaving behind. To the class of 2022, take pride in how far you have come. Be confident in how far you can go. And from all of us to all of you, congratulations on a job well done. Now go forth and move some mountains.